What's going on, guys? Keith here, Two Guys How To. June's in the Bobcat, and today we're working on these 773 Bobcat units. And the problem we're having is the seal around the lift arm on the ram is leaking, especially on the other side. This one's got some down here, so we're just going to go ahead and address it today. And we haven't seen many videos online, and the ones we've seen, we're not really feeling it. So we're just going to do a good quick video, but show you how to do it with less headache. Long story short, we've got two Bobcats. If you don't, we usually pull it up under a tree or something like that. We are going to leave the pins down in this ram here, but we're going to pop this pin. You can bang this one from the inside out. Once you take a bolt out, there's a bolt similar to this one that goes through. That locks the pin in. June took that bolt out already. So we just need the ram arms lifted up a little bit more from this Bobcat. We're going to lift them up, and then we can bang the pin out. If yours isn't leaking a lot, you can lift it up a little bit and start it and have it running, and then bang that pin out. And then once that pin out is out on that side and on the opposing side, we're going to use this unit to lift these arms up as high as we want. It's just going to be hinged back here. That's it. So we won't have any fluid loss or any messy stuff going, and you won't have to start the vehicle or the unit at all. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing lifted up, and we'll show you. We're going to lift it a little bit, bang that pin out, and leave it lifted, and then also keep it supported with a piece of wood, and then we'll get busy on getting this ram arms out of here. Let's go ahead. And you don't want it all the way up in the air because if you loosen that nut first, it's normally what you do. Don't lift it all the way up in the air. That inside that ram will put tension on that nut and tighten it back up. It'll try to force it out. So what we're going to do, we got it in the air, and June's cracking that thing free, and I'll show you. You good, June? And he's taking that gland nut wrench right down in these, and he cleaned the top cap with a cloth, but he's got those nipples are going down into this top cap receptacle there. The female, you can see them.
Clean those out with a screwdriver.
Yeah, we clean that out. Use a screwdriver or dental pick or something like that. Just get those clean. Clean that top cap, because once you take this off, you don't want any debris falling down inside there. And you can kind of see how that wrench works. It's a little quirky. You got the seal right down in here that's leaking, so we went ahead and we removed this side pin. There's a bolt that goes through here, and you bang that side pin in. Whether you lift the arm up and you bang it out, it's easier just to bang it out this way and pull it out through the inside cab right there. So we've got that out, and there's another pin down on the bottom that looks similar to this, but it's down inside here. You're going to take this one out and bang that pin in. It'll just fall down to the bottom of the motor cavity down there, and you can just reach in and grab it. It's no big deal. It actually looks harder than it is. So June is in there, and he removed the water bottle, the overflow bottle, and he's got it bungee cord up, as you can see, and the tray that the overflow sits down in is this metal bracket up against that wall. He took that out. So he's going to go in, and what he's trying to do is he's trying to get the main line screw in there, or the line set, which looks just like this, but down inside there. So you've got fluid that pushes up into the cylinder. That's what raises the arm. And you've got, when you lower it down, the fluid goes out the top and allows the cylinder to go down. Basically, it's pushing fluid down at the top, pushing it down and up and down, depending on which way you've got that boom arm. So we're gonna just crack these loose. There's one here, there's one down inside there that June's gonna get to. Remove this pin, this lock pin here, bang that pin in. We already did this one, we banged it in that way. All right, June's back in there with the 3/8 drive. He's got a 6-inch extension. And on those the lines, he's got one lower line, what was that, 13/16?
7/8.
Or 7/8. And then that's the one line that he took off, it's right here. And the other line goes down in and goes up that cylinder to the top up there. But there's a hold down clamp, so make sure you undo that hold down clamp. That's a 9/16. It holds those two lines together. And June goes around to this side He's going to take that little starter relay pack out of there so he can get actually up in there, and that pin will go bang in there, and he'll just disconnect those hydraulic lines down in there. All right, June's undoing that top line right there, and it's going to get a little messy because all the fluid's in the top of the cylinder now, nothing's in the bottom. But it is what it is, so we can just kind of get that line set up out of the way somewhere. You need a bungee to hold it.
Yeah, right here.
All right. You got it? Yep. You're just going to take a little bungee cord and bungee that thing out of the way. Yep. Beautiful. So now we can go ahead and concentrate on this pin here. Take out that 9/16 nut under the bottom here in this head, pop that out, and we'll be able to pop that pin right through, and it'll fall out into this back engine compartment in the lower deck. And you can see where we're dripping some fluid here, and we've just got this big old drip pan down in there to grab all this crap. And we're not going to worry about saving the fluid just so no dirt or debris gets in it. We didn't pressure wash anything first because if we move this unit anymore, it's going to damage the pump, and we don't want to keep putting $50 cans of fluid in here. So let's go ahead and get this off here. You can see where June is. He's getting busy on that bottom pin. And when he gets that bolt out, we'll go ahead and show you banging that one pin out. And it's pretty simple. All right, so we got this thing, one Bobcat with a chain hooked to the arm, a couple boards across, the safeties, extra safeties. And June just knocked that pin out.
I'll pick up one.
Yeah, let me get this thing situated here. Ready? Let's get that awl in there. So he picks it up, just take the awl out. You can see it's lifted that whole ram up and out of there. So once you disconnect the lines back there, there's really not much that drips out. We bled everything out, so we've got that jug there. But both of these things are ready to go into the garage and onto the workbench. All right, we got them totally off, so I'm getting ready to take them around front to the pressure washer. But I'm going to use some of this engine degreaser on them first. Then I'm going to cap off the holes with a plastic bag or something. We're going to take them apart anyway, so I'm not really worried about water getting in there. It's just mainly the dirt and debris, so I'm going to pre-treat them now. All right, guys, so we got the rams off, both rams off on this 773. We took both rams off because we're going to replace the Zerk fittings on the bottom, and double check those, make sure you can grease it right. And we've got this kit direct from Bobcat. It's a 7135558, and you can get some cheaper ones online. We're going with the stock stuff. We've got 20 years of use out of it already, so we're good. We got the rams off. Most of the fluid's out. It's a messy job. There's probably going to be more in here. But first and foremost, you got to take off this special nut they got there, and it's called a gland wrench. And we've got one from Advanced Auto, and you can get them online. They're about anywhere from 30 to 60 bucks, and it's got these little nipples in it that come off of it, and there takes a set key right there, so you can raise these studs up and down however you want. And it's adjustable. It takes a 1/2-inch wrench, just a square drive, kind of goes in there like this. Hopefully we don't pump a bunch of stuff out. It goes right around that gland nut down into those little grooves. There's two little dimples down in that gland nut. It goes like that, and we're going to take it off. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we've got that. We've got a big pry bar here. that we're going to put through this lower end. You can put this down on the ground and stand on it if you're doing it by yourself or what. Let me move this back some so you can get both of us in here. We had to pull that stainless piston up a little bit, so June had his breaker bar on there and I held down, and he just twists back and forth. You can see it starts coming out. So if worst come to worst, once we crack that nut, it'll come out better. But you got to do that to give you some kind of spacing off of there to get that special gland nut tool. Let's get right down on here, and so you can see June. I'm going to hold this bar back here. June's going to crack that thing loose. We actually broke this loose when it was on the machine, because if you don't, it's hard to get enough torque on everything when it's on the table. So let's get down in here and get this gland nut off. We'll show you how this tool works here. And I'm going to hold one side of this while June gets that gland nut off on the other side. We cracked this loose already on the machine, otherwise, like I said, it's almost impossible to get them off. Sometimes you just can't get them off. You got to use a big pipe wrench, because that aluminum top cap that June's removing now bonds into this steel piston outside housing, the ram arm. There you go, that's the top cap, and there's the seals in there. And then June's gonna pull this whole thing out, and we'll show you the seals that are on the bottom. And he's got that drip tray down there grabbing all that excess oil. And there you go, right there, there's the seals. You wanna show them that real quick? And this big nut, that nut's gonna give us a problem getting off too. But let's go ahead, let's get at it. All right, so you watched us take the piston apart, got the seals. We came back down to the units right here, and we put the top part of that stainless steel. Here's that top cap where that gland nut is. We're just gonna go and hang it back on this pin that's sticking part way out of the unit, so we can get some, it won't turn, we can get some leverage. You can see June's got a 3/4 inch breaker bar there with a piece of pipe on that 1 7/16 nut, but you wanna be sure not to bend this thing as it's going up. So we're gonna try to get it steady and see if he can break that thing free. Huh?
It's on there. Tight.
Yeah, it's tight. Sometimes you gotta heat them. He cracked it there and moved some. There we go. It's got red Loctite on there, but you can see, I'm gonna step back. You can see what we got. Go ahead and show them, June. You got the top part of that piston is up on that machine. You need a steady pin.
I took all I got.
Yeah, and he put all of his weight into it. But now he's got it, and he's just using that 3/4 inch breaker bar. If you had an air gun, we could go back out to the front and zip it off with the air. But we'll just keep doing it the way it is. We're gonna get this nut off, go back up to the table, and we're gonna go ahead and take these seals apart. But that's how you gotta get that nut off of there. And on this gland nut, the same thing. If you wanted to crack it loose before you take it up into your workbench, you want to crack that gland nut free first. Otherwise, it's going to give you a hard time. And if these don't come off, sometimes you got to use a huge pipe wrench on them. The other one's giving us a hard time, so we're going to go ahead and probably break it free. And you can see where somebody's already been in this one with a nut, a wrench before, it looks like. So let's go ahead and get this bottom nut off of here, get these seals put on. I'll show you guys how to do it so you can fix it yourself.
Before you do that, hold that button sound to reposition the foot.
This cap's giving us a hard time, so let's try to See if we can get it off of here. Man, I hate to pull anything to me. Just can't come up and pull the ass end up like that. Ready? Let's go, keep going as far as we can with it. We got that pipe over there. You can see we've got that clamp and this protective claw. Yeah, that's off now, and you can see just the ridges it put in that cap. So yeah, there's a bunch of metal. Hopefully the cylinder's okay. If not, we're gonna have to rethink rebuilding it. But let's get it off. Let's get it up to the table. You can see this clamp system we got here holds that cloth and holds that wrench up straight, even if you use that gland wrench, which didn't work. So let's go ahead and open this up and check out the insides of the cylinder. All right, everybody, so we're getting total countrified here. This piston, this cap, we had to remove with that pipe, and this piston does not want to come out of here. We're not sure if the tube's bent from rubbage on the side where it buckles up inside here, and after a while it can push on these side cases and kind of mushroom that inner plunger. But long story short, we've got the pin coming out of here off the machine. We're using the actual machine goes. We've got these side ones off here because we're doing other work, but we've got the top part of this piston. Here's that cap with the flange nut on it, which they want almost $200 for one of these. So we're not sure if we're gonna order that. And the seal kit's 80 at BOBCAT. We're halfway to the $600 mark of a new ram, but we're gonna pop this one out and then use the other ram that came out of the cylinder, super sweet in the video, and see if it goes down there, and we can tell if that piston, the cylinder itself, is actually true or not. So we've got our pin here holding this in place, and we've got your bungee or your tie strap holding the chrome part of the cylinder or the piston rod, and then we've got another strap that goes up over top that cradles these two. We went ahead and we put another pin from the unit in here. I wrapped it with duct tape. We have a cloth around it, and I've got these pipe clamps, 4-inch clamps going around it, and we've got our chain through there. That way it's going to pull on both sides of this thing super evenly. We've got a clamp here and a clamp there, as well as we've got it tied off so this part of the cylinder can just dangle. We've got the chain back to the backhoe, and June's going to slightly tug on that and see if we can get this plunger part to pop free out of here. You can see it's coming out now. There she blows. You can see this thing's just all scored up. So you can see on the seal there's lines right there. So chances are down inside that cylinder is beat up. All right, guys, so we've got the cylinders taken apart. The one gave us a total headache, and the threads down in here on the other one are stripped. So we've already got a whole new cylinder ordered. It can't be fixed, and if you do screw it in, the metal filings are going to go in there and contaminate the whole cylinder, that cylinder, and go over and mess up this good cylinder. So let's get these new bushings and everything and seals put in here. We got that nut off. The one kit that we came with from BOBCAT comes with a new nut with the red Loctite built inside here. The aftermarket ones don't. So June's going to go ahead and just take this apart, get these seals off. And he's just got two dentist tools there. It's a really hard rubber seal. He's going to grab it with the one dentist tool and pop it out with the other one. Sometimes you can take a cutting blade and just cut them, or a pair of scissors so you don't score anything. Get that one out of there. That one he just broke it on out. Take it out. We'll go ahead and clean this. We cleaned this cylinder already with diesel fuel all down into here. We used the brush that June. We taped two of these together to make it extra long. It's kind of like just a cleaning brush you get up at the hardware store. And he went up inside there, cleaned out anything, checked the threads, everything looks good. The diesel oil won't contaminate anything. And we'll wipe this one down with diesel later. So you pretty much take this cap off here. It can only go on one way. We just set them down, nice, good to go. And that top cap comes off there. And you can see the seal's busted already. It's totally missing pieces of the seal.
That one's just falling apart.
Yeah, and the one inside is just totally eaten apart, the green one. I don't know if they can see that down in there or not. Let's go ahead and just take that one out. You can see it's just falling apart. So you grab that with the dentist tool, he's just pulling it out. I think that one's got a spring in the middle. You can see the spring comes out with it, and it's set inside there. Like I said, we're gonna wash all this off in some diesel fuel. You could do soap and water if you wanted, take it inside, just air dry it real good. And we're gonna take these off. You're just gonna have to remember how they all go on. Take some pictures if you have to. And these are good dentist tools too. I think we got these at Sears before they closed, old Craftsman. We've used the cheapies before and they work, but they're not as good as this, a nice set. Perfect for doing things like this. June's just getting in there with that diesel or dentist tool, getting the bushings out of there and getting the seals. We're gonna clean it down, clean it up with some diesel fuel. Good to go there. So it's totally picked clean. We just need a little bit of fuel, maybe over top this tub here. He's got some in a Gatorade jug. I thought that was Gatorade. So
drink that.
You want me to pour it on top while you brush it a little bit? Good. You can get up inside there too with like one of those old toothbrushes that we always use, or a nice new clean rag. He's just hitting those threads, making sure the threads are good and clean. Looks pretty squeaky clean to me, man. And it'll actually lubricate those seals when you put them in too, so.
Pour some right in there.
One little chunk in there. Good?
Yep.
All right, let's get these seals going here. Okay, and on this one particular one that June has right now, there's a seal down in there and you can't really see it. You got to really look into it, look at it, and you'll see it pop, see it down in there. If you can just get it up out of there. And once he gets it, let me get this other tool. If you can get it to pop, or sometimes get it just like that. And boom, that's this little O-ring right here, the smaller one. So it goes with this one and the fatter, squared up, hard plastic type ring. That goes together around that. All right, we cleaned up these other pieces with diesel as well. This one main spacer, the heavy duty piece where the nut touches that. Everything's good to go. So we can go ahead and do that one. This one's gonna go first. And just snap it around there. And it's hidden down in there, you can see it. Let me just wash this off a little bit. Can't really see it because it's black, but it's in there. It goes in there first, and then this one's gonna have to go in. These are a little bit more rigid. That's the thicker orange color. Depending on what kit you got, just match it up, take pictures. You wanna be careful, don't let that thing roll at all. It's gotta sit in there just nice and square and true. And it should settle back down, kind of stretch back in, and when it gets hot, it'll go back in too. Assuming it lets us push it down inside the piston correct. Let's just go ahead and sit that to the side, let it kind of just ease back together. And let's get this main one put together, the main top cap.
This one over here.
Yep. The hardest one is that heart-shaped one that you're gonna have to, the one you gotta turn into a heart. You've gotta kind of push it down like this. And bend it over itself. You can use a hair dryer. And it wants to really kind of catch itself, but let's just go ahead and grab it like this. It's got to be seated down in there too. And this side too, the spring side with the lip goes down. Some of these kits don't come with the same exact look as the BOBCAT. All right, so we pinched it, got it in there, and June popped it back out.
It's a pain. I just basically forced it in.
Yeah, he just took that thing and put it down in there and held it, and then bent the middle of it down and it popped in. It's hard to see. Yep, so the seals are in. Kind of match it up to the way the old one looks. It's hard to tell, color difference. This seal is totally missing. And the hardest one is that inner one there. Just basically you can heat it up a little bit with a hair dryer. June just pushed it in there and you just push the middle down, kind of turns into a heart, and you just snap it up into there. And that was done deal. So go ahead and put the top cap on. Put that back on first, the same exact way that we took it out. You might want to use a little bit of WD-40 or some hydraulic oil or whatever. It's fine. WD's fine. So now we're ready for the spacer.
Yep.
And we're ready for this nut. Oh, yeah, the spacer and this thing here. Probably put a little bit of grease on, or spray on this once it gets in there. See if we can get it back up in there right. And here's the brand new nut with the Loctite in it. So we're gonna get that started and then go down to the Bobcat and officially tighten it up, hanging off one of those pins off the Bobcat and tighten it back up. All right, so we're back down at the unit. We went ahead, we got one of these pins halfway sticking out. June's got it hanging off of there. We're just gonna crank it back down. That red Loctite on this bottom nut, the red Loctite should kick in and lock it on there. We used a breaker bar to get it off, so might as well use the breaker bar to put it back on. We're not exactly sure how many foot-pounds. One guy said 600 foot-pounds. We've got the book down at the office. I think that's about good. That's how it was when he took it off. So this thing's ready to be inserted back into the sleeve. All right, cylinder's cleaned out. Got a little bit of hydro fluid here. Let's see if this thing goes back in as easy. Just gonna put a little bit of this on my finger. Just put it right around the end here. Actually, tell you the truth, let's just do all the seals real quick with it. No, that's the diesel fuel still in there. Put a little bit more hydro fluid in there. See if that thing goes in the way it should. Stand it up. Gotta kind of wiggle it a little bit back and forth. Should be good to go.
Down, one to go.
Yeah, so we're not going to bore you showing you how to do the other one, although very well could, but not today. If we showed you how to do one, we're good. So we're gonna go back down, get this installed in the unit. Most likely not today, it'll probably be Monday. If not, I'll try to put it in there tomorrow. We might show you that, I'm not sure yet. We already showed you how to get it off, so just put everything back in the same way. If not, we'll show you how to get everything back on and bleed the system out and kind of just let it do its thing. So, I don't know. Keith here, two guys out too, June's there. I'm getting tired. We're out of here. Check out the other videos. See ya. What's up, Iggy? Talk to him before I shut the video down. Oh yeah. Yep. You're not a pig, you're a lawyer. He's not a pig, he's a lawyer. Peace.
I'm not a pig, I'm a lawyer.